listening to Ghost is supposed to sound like you've just been handed that record from 1975, 76, and someone tells you that this was the best horror rock band of the 1970s, and can't believe you haven't heard these. And you just put that on, and you hear Ghost. It's supposed to sound like that extremely cool band from the 70s that you just miraculously missed out on. We have not spent enough time to tour Europe in comparison to all the time that we have been touring America. This is our second headlining tour here, and whereas in Europe we have never really headlined much at all. So, for lack of a better phrase, we don't really know our market value. Whereas here in the States, where we've done, I have no idea, maybe 60 shows or something like that, we have a fairly accurate view of where we are. And the third time coming to a lot of these places, it's a sort of a relationship which you have with all these different cities, and it feels great. To the sound of a monstrous clock. Obviously, it's always fun being in a band that's successful and go places. And if you're talking about the quirks of being an anonymous band member, it has its ups and downs. Obviously, we're making it very hard for ourselves, trying to maintain our anonymity. Whereas we are in the luxurious position of being able to walk around very freely and spend a lot of time in local record shops. I guess any band in our size would be able to do that freely, but it's quite comfortable still. Black candles burn all minds alive. The music and the imagery was already on a sort of a planning state, very delicate in the sense of being a highly visual band, and in order for that visuals to be sort of understandable and fully to be able to be fully sort of engulfed in the experience that we wanted to give, we felt that we need to extract all sort of individuality from the picture. Obviously, we are a gimmick band. I would not say that we would work just because if we just take away the image. However, I think that we musically are very strong, and I know that we were able to take a few necessary steps without even showing our image in the beginning. From when we sort of surfaced until we actually presented a picture of what the band looked like, it was almost 6 months. And during those 6 months, we grew tremendously, like on an underground basis. So we know for a fact that our music itself has the capability of gripping people. But obviously it would not be the same if we were just to take our masks off and do it casually.
So they go hand in hand?
They go very much hand in hand. But I think that in comparison to a lot of other image bands, not Kiss, not David Bowie, but a lot of others, I think that our music is very strong, whereas There's a lot of bands out there, historically especially, that has had a really cool image, but when you listen to them, it's nothing. We're not in any way asocial, but if we had had our way from day one, we wouldn't even do interviews. It's just one of those necessary evils that you have to go through in order to sort of live up to the other agenda that we have, which is to become a big successful band, and in order to being able to bring forth the show that we're talking about, and that which we further on wish to be able to produce. Therefore, we have to do interviews, and therefore we have to do all those things. From where we were coming from at, let's say, 2 years ago, when we were just about to surface, obviously being on a label that didn't really have breaking bands on the agenda, having a lot of those well-known advocates for the band has meant everything for us, because without them, who knows where we would have been at this point. So, and obviously that's promotion that you can't buy. You cannot buy that sort of endorsement. So, and obviously you cannot plan for it either. So that has just been a huge bonus. We have painted ourselves in a corner thematically. We know that there are several ways that we can sort of work with the subject and work with the aesthetics of what we're doing in terms of taking it further and make it more interesting. There's still a shitload of things that we haven't done theatrically and show-wise that has to do with production means. And obviously we need to take it up even further in terms of size in order to be able to produce that sort of show. So there are still a lot of things that we need to go further with. We have put a lot of pressure on ourselves, because we are now so synonymous with a show that obviously you cannot scale it down. There's only one way to go, and that's more.